Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Chinaya Chukai Pere. I hope you're having a good day. Yeah, I hope you also had a good week. So today I'm going to share my stories about how I managed with babysitting 4 children under the age of 8 when we arrived in the United States. So, coming from an environment where I had a lot of helps, at some point I had 3 house helps in my house. So, I don't know what it feels like to handle, 4 needy kids at the same time. I didn't know it before I got to the United States. Probably I did, but this place made it so obvious. Let me tell you what I mean. So in Nigeria, even though by the tail end of our stay in Nigeria, I had released my house girls, okay? I ended up being with my kids, but I don't think I felt the need to take them everywhere I was going. At that age, I could very well probably leave them with my neighbor, or I could even leave them by themselves, but I don't remember having the need to leave them. Or also, let's say I want to go to the market, I could call my friend and say, hey, can I bring my kids over? I want to go to the market. And even sometimes I don't even have to ask her. I just carry my kids, dump my kids there. They'll be playing with her kids and the neighbor's kids, something like that. But then I have peace of mind when I go out. However, in the United States, you don't just go up to a neighbor and knock, neighbor, hold my kids, let me go to the market. No, you will carry your kids and go to that market. You get what I mean? Come back, still hold those kids and be doing whatever you're doing. So it's a cultural thing for our kids to be more independent back home of their parents. Since they have a lot of option of people taking care of them, like aunties, uncles, neighbors, friends, But here, there's so much responsibility on the parent, especially for us immigrants, especially for us from Nigeria. It ends up most times being the woman. It's just that. Why? Because we transfer some of our culture to come with us here. Okay? So one of the places that actually helped me with babysitting my kids was the library. Library is something that helped me a lot. I think it was my brother that introduced me to the library, okay, starting from when we were in his house. So when we go to the library, I try to keep the kids busy depending on their age. So the youngest ones, since I know that they hadn't, started reading, I like to keep them in the play area. So usually before COVID, pre-COVID, you could go to the library and go to the play area. Most of the libraries that, I've lived in different towns, and most libraries have kiddie area. But one thing I want to say that library actually did for my kids, okay, especially the big ones, was that, most times when I parent out of experience from how my parents parented us, okay? When I was a kid, my dad taught me how to draw. He was a really good artist. I mean, he could just draw. So I used to like to give him paper and pencil for him to draw for me. Sometimes he will draw, sometimes maybe he won't have time and he wouldn't. But I know that I actually was inspired to draw by watching my dad. So I'm that kind of hands-on parent because I actually went on the floor with my kids when they were growing up. I did a lot of play modeling with them. I, you know how you lay on the floor and color, coloring books, you color them. I did that kind of parenting. So I played with them, I roughhoused with them, I crawled on the floor. That was me. And the reason I chose that option was so that I could distress. Because one thing we learned just from me living in Nigeria, if I start to think, adulthood took away playfulness from us. One way we try to show that we were adults was decrease of play. In the course of being a hands-on parent, when I take my kids to the library, what I used to do was I'll go to the aisle where they have art books, and I'll, borrow those books and make my children learn how to draw. So there was something, again, we're talking about culture here, that actually happened in the process of picking the books for my kids to learn how to draw. Because I noticed again, there was a time I told the story about colors, pink for girls, blue for boys. This is another thing that we noticed in toys. I was wondering, because when I get those books, how to draw books, most of them you could tell were girly stuff. The ones where you draw fairies and cartoons and all that are like moving towards the girly cartoons like Snow White, all those princess, this and that. When my daughter was learning how to draw, I was wondering, why couldn't my son just draw Snow White like the sister? I don't know if I'm making sense, but still that sense of, boys play with cars, macho stuff, and girls play with girly baby stuff. Okay, so let's leave it that way. So when I was doing that, all my plan was actually, hey, to meaningfully get them engaged so that I could, focus on probably my school stuff. One of the first places I find out when I go to a town, I must visit the library. Then the little kids, I will start to give them like basic storybooks. So that thing helped me a lot.